Manchester City 2, Paris Saint-Germain 1. A brilliant comeback courtesy of goals from Raheem Sterling and Gabriel Jesus. PSG were given the lead by a goal from Kylian Mbappe. It looked like a potential smash and grab was on the line. After Man City had really dominated the majority of the game, but PSG, they were resolute, they defended well, and they got that lead early on in the second half. But Man City turned that screw. They improved again and again and again throughout the game, carried on creating and carving out opportunities, and it proved too much pressure for PSG, and they collapsed to a 2-1 defeat. An excellent turnaround with a number of injuries for Man City as well, with Phil Foden, £100 million Jack Grealish, and of course the brilliant KDB all out. At the same time tonight, big breaking news via James Ducker of The Telegraph that Paris Saint-Germain will hold an emergency meeting with Mauricio Pochettino after this game. So probably not right now. The game is literally just finished, but in the next hour or so, to understand his intentions of whether or not he wants to remain at the football club. James Ducker tonight talking heavily about that, the future of Pochettino on the line. There is also, of course, Man United are talking to potential interim managers as well. But according to James Ducker of The Telegraph, a meeting will be held between PSG and Mauricio Pochettino tonight after the defeat to Manchester City at the Etihad Arena. Lots of talk around Man United's next potential manager going on tonight as well, which is really, really interesting to see. Lots of talk about interim managers, at least 5 being on the list. All this story, by the way, all comes from James Ducker at The Telegraph. If Poch isn't attainable, they will swiftly move. The likes of Ralf Rangnick, Valverde, amongst a number of others, are on the 5-man shortlist to take over from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But we're here to talk about the Manchester City game as well. We're going to share the link for you to phone in and have your say. I want that like button smashed the living daylights out of first and foremost, though, please. What an exciting game we just watched. I know there were other games on tonight in the Champions League. I know that Liverpool were 2-0 up. Mohamed Salah got his 17th goal in 17 games. Dead rubber, though. They're already through. It weren't focusing on that tonight. Looking at some of the other results here today, Atletico Madrid lost 1-0 to AC Milan. Ajax win again. That's 5 from 5 for Ten Hag's men. Dortmund lost, losing 3-1 to Sporting Lisbon. Inter Milan won. Real Madrid smashed it. And of course, Leipzig won 5-0 at Club Brugge, which was an interesting result as well. We have a super chat here from Lang and Sweet, one of our long-standing Man City fans, who says, who needs Jack Grealish when you have big boy Raheem Sterling? And Sterling's been short of goals. Raheem Sterling has been short of goals, no doubt about it, at Man City in the last 12 months. But that's 3 from 3 in his last 3 home games now for Raheem. Could he be turning that corner? Because if he starts scoring goals again, there's a difference. Up until the goals today, at that point, Man City had failed to score in 33% of their games so far this season. That is not a good enough percentage. Because if you don't score in a game, you can't win it. I know that's a really obvious Michael Owen style thing to say, but if you're not winning 33% of your games, the fact that you need to have a win percentage to win the league of at least around 75% typically, it's impossible when you've got teams like Liverpool and Chelsea in there. So tonight are important because the likes of Jesus, the likes of Raheem Sterling certainly have to start scoring more goals than they did. And it was a brilliant comeback against a very good PSG team. But were PSG playing like a team that knew their manager's leaving? I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. I want your thoughts and feelings. I really, really do. But another super chat here that says, is the phrase player or coach joining rivals? That is a very good guess. That isn't the secret football phrase, but keep those guesses coming in. For some reason, my camera looks a little bit dull tonight, and I'm not too sure as to why. If I get the focus a bit better, that's the wrong way. No, it's not it. Maybe I've got to, let me just turn the iOS up a bit. Is that better? It's a little bit better. That's it. That's a little bit better to me. Just wanted to get, it was a little bit dull. It was bothering me. I could see it on my monitor and I didn't like it. Let's do some more of your comments. There's 0 trophies for Poch. This is true. Thiago's goal. I'll have a look at all the goals later. I personally didn't watch it this evening, so I couldn't see that happen. Poch looks so disinterested today is what Sharik's got to say. Cancelo with the outside foot pass. Yeah, that's becoming almost his signature this season. It's almost like he's taken that skill set from the brilliant KDB and is doing it himself. It really, really is. It's interesting to see indeed. Terry, this is your year. This is our year City, Champions League is ours, is what Manchester is Blues got to say. He thinks they're going to win it. He thinks Man City are winning it. Joshua Jack here says, Poch is the most overrated manager. Can't manage big egos. Can't handle pressure. Same counter-attacking as Ollie. Keep him away from us, is what Joshua Jack has got to say. Blue Viper says, Poch is mediocre. Come on, City. Werner. Do you know what? I was disappointed again in Neymar tonight. Everyone's going to hate it. Oh, you got a Neymar agenda. I don't watch him play a lot, but I see him miss so many big chances in so many big games in the Champions League. Legit, I feel like he misses one every time I watch him play. So I don't want to... It's almost becoming like confirmation bias for me. But tonight, he missed an opportunity, not just to put PSG 2-1 up, but to score one of the great Champions League goals. And it was an awful shot. I'm going to say this about the little fanboys of Mbappe. This guy will never cut it in the Premier League. Fact. The man is bang average. Man won't get 40 plus in the Prem if you think that you need your head checked. Nav here coming out with violence tonight. Mbappe, bang average. Are you really saying he's bang average? Now, the football terrace is no echo chambers. We allow people to say what they want about football without overtly shooting you down sometimes. Bang average. He has something like 28 or 29 Champions League goals in something like 50 Champions League appearances as a kid. He's still a child in my eyes. Like, he's still so young, I could be his father. And I wouldn't have been on teenage pregnancy thing. What was that show? Teenage Mums. 16 and Pregnant. That's the one. MTV. I wouldn't have even been on that show, bruv. Probably would have done, actually. But you know what I mean? I could be his dad. He's still young. That young. Legit. Mbappe could be my son. And you're saying he's bang average. Come on, G. I love you, Nav. But that is a hot take indeed. Maybe that's going to feature on the next episode of Hot Takes. Is the phrase guard of honor? The phrase isn't guard of honor, but that is another really good guess on the terrace today. If Ronaldo has that performance Messi had. Listen. Ronaldo has scored 6, is it 6 or 5? Is it 6 Champions League goals in 5 games? And he's playing for our team. Like, it's amazing. He's turning 22. He's turning, okay, he's a little bit younger than I thought. But anyway, he can still be my son. He can still be my son. Is he actually your son? Who knows? I spent a lot of time around that age, between 13 and 18. I spent a lot of time in France. So, no disrespect to Mbappe's dad. I'm only joking, G. Killian Fleurs. That's got a ring to it as well, you know. Killian Fleurs. I like that. It's quite a good name, actually. It rolls off the tongue. But if I was going to name my kid after any young footballer, I would call him Marcus. Marcus Fleurs is what I'd do. But there we go. As an Arsenal fan, I want Poch, Ten Hag, Enrique, or anyone. An Arsenal fan wanting Poch. Can you believe it? Sass here says Messi disappeared again. I am not giving an opinion on that. I am going to stay away from that ticking time bomb. He was massively influential in their goal, no doubt about it. But you know, when I see this PSG team, and I don't know if this is a Poch issue or a PSG issue, because I don't watch any league below the standard of the top 4 European leagues, and I barely watch the others. It's hard to do you know what it is? It's hard to watch the Prem and watch any other league because it just isn't as good. It's entertaining. Technically brilliant, some of these other leagues, but not as entertaining. Before I offend anyone. I don't know, but for me, when I watch PSG play, for large parts of the game, it's like 8 versus 11. There's like a disconnect between the 8 players in midfield and defense and the 3 attackers and goalkeeper, of course. There's sometimes a disconnect. I don't know if they don't work as one organism. You look at City, you look at Liverpool, you look at Chelsea, and I'm using them as examples. Bayern Munich do this. I've seen them play. Dortmund do it. I've seen them play. Real Madrid and Barca at their peak did this as well. They work as a unit. You might have one player in the team that kind of gets a bit of a free roll, but 3 of them, every now and then they press, every now and then they come back defensively, but it ain't enough. They're just like a separate little ring-fenced entity. Do you know what I'm saying? They're like the Vatican, like its own little country in a city in a country. Do you get what I mean? It's just them, man, doing their thing. And I'm not saying they're not brilliant. They are highly talented players. I don't know if it's going to work. I know they got to a Champions League final a few years ago, but they didn't with Messi being there. I don't know. Something about it seems a bit off-key to me. Most people are going to say I'm hating. I don't know what I'm hating on. They're not really my rivals. They're better than Man United as a team. But just something about the cohesion. When you look at the best teams in Europe right now, City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Bayern, there's a togetherness. All 11 men working as one. PSG is like 2 separate teams. Them 8 and them 3. Every now and then they might collaborate a little bit. But you know what I mean? I don't know. It just feels off to me. Just feels off. Just feels off. Let's have a little look here. Chelsea will miss out on the top 4 and Champions League. Come on. I know you're happy you won tonight, but wow. City are the best team in Europe right now, is what Blue Vipers got to say this evening. I can understand why you're thinking that. You're in a good mood. Sharik here says Poch will have 2 less egos to work with United. If it happens, indeed. Right, I've got man like Daps coming on the show now. Big Man City fan, of course. Hit that like button, people. We've nowhere near enough likes on this show right now. We're only just under 200. What's going on? Nearly 2,000 people watching the Terrace live on the air. Get that smash, my people. Get this stream shared as well across social media platforms. Keep having a guess. There's not quite a few of you super chatting, but no one really guessing what the secret phrase is. You want to make sure you're getting that done. Well, my point is when it comes to it, he fades away. It's just like, I'm just being real. I am wrong in saying man is bang average tonight or not. Yes or no. He scored a goal. I wouldn't say Neymar didn't have a great game tonight. Sorry, Mbappe didn't have a great game tonight. We don't know whether he's bang average. I've said this all along, though. I know what he's done at the World Cup. I know what I've seen him do in the Champions League. But I feel like the way he's spoken about, you've got to have that triple threat. You've got to have a good to brilliant international career. And I say that because, and then that's contextual depending on what country you're from. You have to have a very good Champions League career, scoring goals if you're a striker, winning the damn thing. And then on top of that, you've got to have a solid and exemplary league career. Mbappe isn't going to have that league one ticked off until he joins the Prem, La Liga, Serie A, or the Bundesliga. He can't. He just can't have it. So he does need to move. I don't think he's bang average. I think Mbappe, is sensational. But he does have to leave the French leagues. It's a simple, if he wants the full scale recognition, in my opinion, in this day and age, with the way football is balanced now, it has to happen. Jerome says Tuchel had the same issue that Poch is having. Too much player power at PSG, not listening to the manager. And I think there's an element in truth in that. I wouldn't judge Poch based on what's going on at PSG in the same way, we didn't judge Thomas Tuchel. I think that's very, very fair. All 4 English teams finished top of their group. Like I said, PSG is a holiday camp. You sign for PSG, you have a good time. It's a retirement club, is what YUFC has got to say. Right, I'm going to get Daps on now to have his say. He looks ready to go. Smash that like and share button, people. Let's do this. Hello, mate. Welcome back to the Terrace. How you doing?
I'm happy, mate. Can you hear me? Am I all good, yeah? Very happy, very, very happy. You're a funny guy, Terry.
Why? What did I do?
I've just sat here for like 10, 15 minutes laughing at some of the stuff you do. You're quite a funny guy still.
I appreciate it.
Away from football, you're pretty amusing. Maybe I'm in a good mood.
Yes, it's good when you're in. I like it when you're in a good mood. I like it when you're in a good mood.
Better than in a bad mood, eh?
This is true. Talk to me about tonight's performance, because you're huffing and puffing a lot, but couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. How impressed were you in the end, though, with that great comeback?
Oh, you know what? When I saw the lineup, I was stressing, pulling hairs out. On the streams, moaning. No Foden injured, fair enough, but then no Jesus, and Jesus leads our press. So I was like, what are we doing? he'll get it right or he'll get it wrong. What Pep has done tonight, he'll get it right or wrong. He got it right. It was but what you said is bang on. First half, we looked sensational, but at the end of the day, we didn't score. And I was thinking, they're going to get one. They got one, but the way we battled back after that, Raheem Sterling, he's proving all the doubters wrong right now. Bernardo Silva, sensational again. Cancelo, unreal. Walker, people will keep talking about Reece James, keep talking about Trent, keep talking about Cancelo, but Walker again tonight.
Yeah, he was so influential in that goal. And on Raheem Sterling, just quickly, if I may, we know he's been off the boil for about 12 months in front of goal. And what I found, I have put the suggestion out there that I think he maybe needed to change and go to a different club. The one thing I've been frustrated with is people doubting his ability and quality. He was so good for a 4 or 5 year period at City. It was almost like people, he had a bit of a dodgy year, still won a title in that time, still scored some goals, still did brilliantly for England. And it was almost this such a desire and necessity from people to want to write him off and say, the last 4 or 5 years were just almost like that was a purple patch, and this is the real Raheem Sterling. So he's getting them goals in again now. And for you lot, the goals are important because you do seem to be struggling at times in certain games to put the ball in the back of the net.
We're not clinical. I still don't believe we need a starting number 9. I don't think it suits Pep. We just need to be more clinical. Now, the Raheem thing is the one thing everyone needs to know about Raheem is his mentality, his attitude, his ability to listen to managers and learn from managers. That's what he's good at. Things have changed at City. He's not playing with David Silva no more. He's not playing with Aguero no more. So he has to learn how to play with what he's got around him. Right?
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. And proof's in the pudding. I believe in him.
No, I bet you do, mate. In terms of, I wanted to ask you about Mauricio Pochettino and obviously links with your biggest rivals, Manchester United. Do you see that being like all day today? PSG have been putting out this notion again, mainly via the Telegraph, that nothing is going to happen. And then 10 minutes before full time, James Ducker released an article saying there will be a meeting between PSG and Poch straight after the game to discuss the manager's intentions around whether he wants to stay or whether he wants to go. Did you get any inclination tonight that he looks like he wants to leave? Or is that just fans reading into City dominating PSG?
Well, if you watch BT Sport pretty much did the whole section before the show about Pochettino. So he's in Manchester. He might have met up with your board. I believe he will stay till the end of the season because he's going to win a league if he stays till the end of the season. I think it makes sense for him to stay till the end of the season as well.
Yeah,
but start maybe telling the club what players he wants, like Pep did it when he came to City.
Yeah.
I think so. I think I was saying to Soups, who's in the background, earlier on, that I believe United will keep Carrick on as long as possible. They until, even if you lose to Chelsea, they won't get rid. They'll keep this interim thing rolling. Maybe a loss to Arsenal might then, but they want to keep Carrick on as long as possible. And then I think Poch in the summer, and that makes sense, to be fair.
Yeah, I hear you on that, mate. I do. And in terms of everything else, I mean, I want to ask you about City. We ain't spoken in a few weeks. Do you feel with the January window, it's going to be here in sort of 5 weeks' time? Do you guys need to buy someone? Do you need to buy a striker in that time period, or do you think you have enough to tip this brilliant Chelsea and brilliant Liverpool team to that title?
You know what? I'll be 100. I think we want the Champions League more this season anyway. But I think after what did you watch Chelsea last night?
Yes.
They looked pretty good, didn't they?
They do look good. They do look good. They do.
But we beat them. But we have beat them. So.
Yes, it's true. It's true. I mean, considering they start the game with about 37 defenders, they look brilliant. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I love the way people are generally knocking them right now. It's a madness, mate. But now, look, you look really, really good tonight. And I think you proved another point that I've had for a while. England, the Premier League and the English teams are the dominant force again in Europe. It's reminding me of that 2005 to sort of 2012 period where we were the best in that, barring a handful of teams from other leagues. And it's going to be, as much as the Prem's going to be close, it's going to be a ridiculously, amazingly close Premier League season, in my opinion. So I'm excited about that and the Champions League. It's going to be brilliant.
I'm not.
Nah, mate, I'm not in it anymore. I can just enjoy it because my team ain't involved anymore. We're all done and we're all washed up this season. There we go, mate. But so listen, Daps, really appreciate you coming on,
Thank
mate,
you.
and having your say, buddy.
I appreciate you having a very drunk waved me. And the minute I said I'd come on, I was like, do you know what? That probably wasn't a good idea because I'm pretty tipsy. So thank you for having me.
No worries, mate. No worries. And look, I'll see you in the studio soon, bruv. You take care, my man. Take care. Cheers, Daps. All the best, mate, from Never a Foul. Go check out Never a Foul. Really good YouTube channel. People, right, I've got some... Daniel's joining me in a bit to have a little chat. I know a lot of you are tuning in for different reasons tonight. Of course, we're reviewing the comeback. We will take some of your calls. But James Ducker of The Telegraph had reported an emergency meeting is to take place between PSG's owners, the board, if you like, and Mauricio Pochettino at the Etihad this evening to ascertain his intentions. He also wrote a report, in the same article, that essentially said, when you break it down, that is Man United's number one choice. But if that can't happen, there is a list of up to 5 interim managers that United are going to look at and look to appoint very, very quickly indeed. We could start to see some clarity over the future of the current PSG boss, Pochettino, imminently. It could be in the next hour or two. It might be tomorrow morning, but expect to see news in relation to that. I want your take and your views. I've got lots of super chats to get through here. Lamin, back in the house, Lamin says, hard work will always beat talent. PSG are a good team of individual divas. They think they are too good to press. They'll never win the Champions League playing like that, is what Lamin's got to say. Andre here says, take the speed off Mbappe. He's just another Michael Owen. I mean, Michael Owen was pretty good, though. I mean, peak, I don't know if that's an insult. Like peak Michael, if you're talking Man United or Stokes Michael Owen, fair enough. But Liverpool's Michael Owen was a quality. He won the Ballon d'Or. He won the Ballon d'Or. Anyway, Nav here says, I'll never stop until he leaves PSG. Come to a real league. And if he performs there, I'll praise him. Simple is what Nav's got to say. No one liking Mbappe tonight. That front three is never going to work. They literally don't press, is what DR's got to say. We have another super chat here. I'm going to get to all these super chats in a minute. Chelsea bus here is what Manchester Blues got to say. A little dig there. B says Messi versus Ronaldo does not prove the debate. Ronaldo done it wherever he goes. Messi at a new club doesn't seem to be doing it. Both amazing though. Listen, if I can't, I'm not allowed to express opinions on that. It doesn't go down well. Imagine Ronaldo this season with a competent manager. Imagine how many more goals he would have scored if we were creating the chances. Jeez. Thank you to Moose for becoming an official Academy member of the Terrace. Lang and Sweet back again with a super chat here. This is Terry, as Dortmund out of the Champions League, do you think a deal can be done for Haaland? What's your opinion? Are they out? I didn't even realize Dortmund went out. Wow. Maybe. If there's no Champions League, they're in the title race though, aren't they? And he's also injured. If he comes back from injury and they're in the title race, Dortmund won't do it. If he comes back from injury and they're 10 points off the title, may we. Could happen, potentially. Maybe. It's a big maybe, though. We have another brilliant super chat. Remember in your super chats, guessing for the Football Terrace secret phrase. Poch is playing like that because he knows his team is unbalanced. We watched a great game between two great teams. Only different City are more balanced, is what man like Bash has got to say. I think a lot of people would agree with you on the balance part. As I said earlier in the show, there's a disconnect. I'm going to bring man like Daniel on now with me there now to have a bit of a chat about this game. Round up a little. We're not going to round up too much of the Champions League because we've got the Bet Victor show tomorrow night. Remember, live from the studio. Daniel's on. Patrick's in with me. And we've got Man Like Lives from AFTV that's going to be in the studio with us tomorrow night. Really looking forward to that show. And I want to see all of you tuning in. There's like over 2,000 of you watching. We need numbers like that on the Bet Victor show moving forward. Like legit. We need the whole Terrace community there back in this show. The levels we're going to try and take this to. And wait till you see. I shouldn't even reveal this. We are developing soon, hopefully, implementing development some new technology soon that forget no other YouTube channel, no other broadcaster in the history of broadcasting has used this. I'm not going to say who or what. I can't. You just need to be there. We need you watching so we can make this work, please, people. Is a secret phrase Peter Parker? That is the weirdest guess ever. My brother, Fatul, I know you messaged earlier. If you want to come to the studio tomorrow, let me know. We've got some serious Chelsea fans in the studio tomorrow as well for the Friday night on the Terrace show that we're obviously pre-recording at the moment because of my timings. But we've got, I think Nini might be coming in. Nini FC could be there. Okay, we've got a number of Chelsea folk. Have Hope in the house. The Grand Dam is going to be there as well. I think I might have oversubscribed. I think I might have about 15 to 20 people arriving tomorrow. It's going to be a big night on the Terrace, but it's going to be energetic and amazing. So Friday night, 6 p.m., that'll be out. If any of you do fancy it in the studio, let me know. We'll get you in. But without further ado, my brother's here. Daniel's in the house. Hit that like and share button. Let's go. Danny boy, how's it going, mate?
Good, man. Good. This is a new camera setup. You know what I mean? It's not normally zoomed in, but hey, we'll work with it. I like it.
Good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're normally more spread out. Yeah. I hear you. I thought you had your camera, and I was like, I swear your camera looks the same. And then I realized what you meant. Yeah. No, it's all good, mate. I mean, I want to talk the game first of all. I mean, I thought it was an entertaining game. I saw deficiencies in both teams, but overall, quite an entertaining game.
The previous super chat summarized it, and do you know what? Like that's one thing where like I'll call out Jess on this. You know, Jess, I love Jess. You know, we both love Jess, and I think it's only right. This is what we do in football. We talk about things, we debate things, we disagree with things, and it's always going to happen. But there was something Jess said, and she spoke about the fact that if I bring up something that is obviously mentioned about my team, it means that I'm triggered. And I'm like, yeah, there is being triggered and there's being rattled. I understand that happens in football and it's banter. And normally, you know, if someone says you're triggered, you can never really come back from it because it means that you're triggered. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in this situation, like we're having a genuine football conversation now, and I would like to get her thoughts on it when she gets the chance to respond and whatnot. But it was what that super chat said: balanced football, where your defense works in a cohesive manner, your cohesive manner, your midfield works in a cohesive manner, and your attack works in a cohesive manner. When all three facets of footballing positions work in a cohesive manner, it means you have a well-oiled machine running effectively and greatly for your team to then be successful. Chelsea Football Club, I'm gonna do a full circle. Chelsea play a balanced way, which is very, very entertaining, very, very fluid. We saw it yesterday. That was one of the most entertaining performances I've seen from a Chelsea side in a long, long time, where neutrals couldn't even dispute the fact that we played great, entertaining brand of football. Do you know who else plays a great, entertaining brand of balanced football? Pep Guardiola. For years and years, what he's implemented in this Manchester City side. This Manchester City side is so different to the Barcelona side. That's what is so beyond me. Like that's why when I asked the question of why are Chelsea so boring, but Man City are so entertaining? Is entertainment when the game ends 5-4, or is entertainment beating a team 3-0, or even beating a team 2-0, but not even giving them a sniff, even giving them a chance?
And do you know what's interesting for me? I don't find Pep's teams exciting because they dominate so much. So for me, it's that Liverpool's team. I don't find City or Chelsea, their games, I don't find them exciting because they're so dominant. Like, I find Liverpool exciting because they attack, but they leave themselves open to get caught on the jaw. More often than not, they absorb it and they beat teams. We know that. So, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. It was interesting with what Jesse said. We were talking about you guys earlier, and she keeps talking about how much better you're getting, but also how you are the most balanced out there right now. And for me, I spoke about it earlier on mine and her podcast. You're just the most balanced team out there in Europe. The only thing letting City down this season is the fact that they scored today, so they bettered that percentage. But up until they got their equaliser, 33% of their games this season, they've not scored goals in. If they resolve that, and maybe Raheem Sterling is that answer now that he's slowly coming back into goals, if he starts scoring like he did for those first 2, 3, 4 years under Pep, it's going to be a shootout between you two. If Liverpool stop leaking goals, and by the way, in the last 2 games, they've stopped leaking goals. Today was a bit of a dead rubber, so it's really hard to kind of ascertain anything from that. If Liverpool shut up shop at the back and City start scoring, we are in, both domestically and in Europe, it is going to be the most amazing season, maybe the most amazing season in Premier League history. There's almost no doubt about it, because you've got 3 teams that are just genuine contenders to win everything they're in, which is just almost unheard of.
100%, man, 100%. And look,
At least in the last 10 to 15 years, anyway. But yeah.
You mentioned obviously the 2005 period to 2012, which is obviously a great period. So Chelsea, Liverpool make semi-finals, United get into finals and whatnot. Even Arsenal made a cheeky appearance in 2006. So we're back. It's full circle. Everything works in cycles. And the English clubs went on we were even gonna lose, or did we lose it? Yeah, I think we lost our. You know where the 4th place is guaranteed? 4th place used to have to qualify for the Champions League because we were so bad in the Champions League for so long. So now that it's back, now that the full cycle's done, we've got 3 of the best teams. I made the tweet. I said, look, I love Bayern, but I really do think we have the 3 best teams in Europe. I genuinely believe so. I think the depth in squad. I mean, City did not have Foden, Grealish, and De Bruyne today. All 3 would have started today, guaranteed. And they. Let's be honest. Apart from the goal PSG scored and a couple fleeting moments where Neymar, Mbappe, Messi would get the ball and maybe they would put you on the edge of your seat, Man City dominated them. Man City could have made it a lot more if they were a lot more clinical. And maybe that's where the striker things comes into it. But the 2 things I wanted to just get out there and make sure I have out in the open, talk about the talk about the game is, on one side, Man City, Bernardo Silva. I think it's absurd that he was about to be sold in the summer. He was one of the people subjected to the rumors, and I think Pep owes him an apology. I think he does, because I don't think Pep truly valued how important this guy is to his team. The hard work that he does off the ball, the running, the pressing that he does, the quality on the ball. I mean, everyone's talking about the goals that happened tonight. I said Raheem shows up big nights. Who grabbed the second goal? Was Jesus? Who grabbed the second goal again?
Jesus got Jesus. Yeah, Jesus.
Before that, the little touch, just the in that position, you're thinking, smack it straight away.
It was in terms of Premier League royalty, it was Bergkamp-esque. It was a Bergkamp style, David Silva style, peak Ozil style touch, and it was a pass and a touch all in one. If that makes sense, it was just perfection. And he's brilliant. But it's happened twice to Pep now, because I still believe, I don't care that he's rejected in public, I believe he was willing to let Sterling go for Alexis Sanchez. And then Sterling said no. That story, we talk about stories now in the transfer market when every journalist is pushing it, and then you think there must be some truth in it. It was kind of like that. And then Sterling came back and was like, yeah, look, I can outperform Alexis Sanchez, and kind of did, or at the very least performed to the high standards. Silva's having a season like that as well, where it looked like he was going to go, and he's probably been their best player this year, barring maybe Cancelo. And you still got to think, if KDB comes back firing at some point, you've got Grealish, who's going to probably get better and better as he settles. This City team are looking dangerous. And what's kind of interesting is when I say I think City are going to pit them to the title, I mean it. But City fans often hear that as, you're saying we're rubbish. I'm like, no, I think all 3 of you teams, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, are astoundingly good. Yeah. I'm just nitpicking. And like I said already, my opinion will change if City start scoring more and if Liverpool stop conceding. Then I'm going to be honest, I don't know. That's how tight it is. It could be one of those games where you get to the final game of the season. Chelsea are top by a point. Liverpool are behind by 2. City are in the middle. The goal difference is close, and it's just a final day. I mean, imagine that, a final day shootout. I'd love something to overtake the Aguero. But do you know what I want to happen? I need something to better the Aguero moment, so that gets forgotten about a little bit. I need that gone. Yeah. I need that scratched.
That genuinely would be the only thing that would overtake the Aguero moment, a 3-way shootout, and where the team who's third wins, or something like mid-game, someone scores, so you think the team that's third's going to win, then the team that's second get a goal. Can
you imagine? Do you know what you need? Do you remember when Pickford should have let the ball go over and he pushed it back into the game and Divock Origi scored? Something like that, where you think, imagine how you feel. Your team's about to win the league. Your rival's shoot and it's going over, and the goalie has to leave it, and he keeps it's going wide, and the goalie keeps it in on purpose.
Or something silly like a freak 1v1 where the keeper then fouls the player. It's a penalty to win the league. Imagine that. A penalty to literally win the league.
I can top it. I can top it, right? I can top this.
Go on.
the team that wins the league, I'm not going to say who, because I don't want to be biased. This is what's going to happen. They need to score a goal to win the league. A draw wins it for them. They're losing 1-0. It's the 98th minute, and they can see the penalty. They can see the penalty. The penalty's hit, and it's saved. The rebound of the penalty is saved. And they go on a counter-attack. You know who scored this goal? They go on a counter-attack. It's Dini! And it goes in. That's what you want. Because that moment, honestly, if it wasn't championship football, if that was a Prem or a Champions League moment, it would be, it's already memorable, but it'd be even bigger. Like, for me, I love it to be won like that, because I think that's one of them goals where I think there's a split second, unless it's your arch rival. So Liverpool wouldn't celebrate if it was Man United and vice versa. But like, well, for a moment, everyone supports that team. It's just like, oh my days, I can't. You have a moment where you just lose your head for a minute, where you just go crazy for it. Like, that's what would be amazing. That would be like, can you imagine?
100%. 100%. But if we bring it full circle, though, when we speak about PSG, look, everyone, do you know, it's not even me being rude, but I think everyone who says that Poch is out of his depth at PSG, I think is being a bit one-dimensional. Look, everyone's looking for a way to demean Pochettino as a tactician, diminish him as a manager, and I think it's a bit unfair. Look, these are unprecedented circumstances. When have we seen a manager have the caliber of Messi, Neymar, and look? You know, when you have a maverick in your team, you create a system that suits your maverick. So you saw, apart from when Mourinho maybe was at Chelsea, Hazard was absolved of a lot of defensive responsibilities. No managers had 3 of those mavericks where you're asking them to run, you're asking them to press, you're asking them to do things that they can't do for 90 minutes of a football match.
I agree. And I was talking before the game I spoke to a few people today, and I was like, I know we don't watch PSG every week, but I'm like, why does Ronaldo get stick for not pressing for United? But no one says nothing about Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. It's like they not only do they get a free pass on the pitch, most people watching just say nothing. And look, there are moments where they press. There are moments where they track back. But as I said it earlier on in the show, they're like the Vatican inside Rome, inside Italy. They're not the same country. Like, do you know what I mean? They've got their own laws, their own rules, got the Swiss Guard in their little clown outfits or whatever, you know what I mean? Dressed up like jesters. That's them. And I mean, I'm not even being rude about it. There's almost too much talent. I always feel like the Galactico experiment failed in terms of what it was meant. Idealistically, it was meant to make the greatest football team ever, play the best ever football, and just dominate and beat everybody. It didn't really work. It was almost, they kind of all got in each other's way a little. But I remember when Michael Owen and Robbie Fowler at Liverpool, not the same issue about pressing, but they were too similar. They got in each other's way. It didn't really work, you know?
What's the like? I don't know. I think there's a manager who said it. I can't remember now. But the greatest teams in world football, the teams that win, have sacrificial lambs. Guys who just don't take any of the credit. The Park Ji-sungs of the world, the Casemiros don't take the headlines. The Jorginhos, the Azpilicuetas. They're not. Who's sacrificing? They've almost got too much talent for the players that are on the pitch to sacrifice, if that makes sense. So you have one guy who does double the work because he covers for your main guy. There's no man on earth, maybe N'Golo Kante, if I want to give him cheeky prop, but there's no man on earth who can cover for 3 stars. I mean, they've got Herrera, who's supposed to be doing the leggy work. They've got Idrissa Gueye. It's almost he's trying to combat that with 2 athletic, mobile centre midfielders, but it just doesn't work. Look, I'm not saying that Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe isn't a trio that works or that can't work, but because I'm not a manager, I'm not a coach, that's for him to figure out. But at the end of the day, I've seen Suarez, Neymar, Messi play together where it worked, maybe because they dominated the ball, maybe because they had
I think that's it. I think that's it. Suarez was a hard worker, I would say. But then you also had that Barca machine, that Xavi Iniesta possession-based football. I'm going to name people that I think were still there at that point. Fabregas must have been there still. Rakitic was there. When I look at when I look at the PSG team that started tonight, anyway, that midfield is workmanlike, not ball. Not like
Yeah.
Gay and Herrera are not ballers. They're workmen. Like I'm not sure what's wrong with Verratti. I didn't read about it before the game. Like Verratti, they need a control in midfield. You almost need like a Verratti, Pogba, and KDB in that midfield. I'm just throwing names out there of people that can hold on to the ball. That's what it almost needs. But yeah, it ain't working. We're gonna throw Cam into the conversation with us three as well. Now, what are you saying, Cam?
How's it going, boys? How you doing? You good?
You're good, mate. Good. We're getting a little bit of feedback from yours.
Hold
I
on.
think it might stop. It might have stopped now. It's
Good
stopped
now?
now. Yeah. Sometimes it does it randomly when you first come in. I wanted to ask you a question, and I know we're talking about the game a bit, but I wanted to ask you both about this as well. According to James Ducker, emergency meeting tonight in Manchester between the PSG hierarchy and Poch to ascertain they've said to ascertain his intentions is the rumors. This comes after a day of media cycle stating there's no way they're letting him go before the summer. Again, this is the same newspaper. I think, Dan, you might have even shared one or two of the links into the group chat today about them saying he ain't leaving until the end of the summer. The focus is on an interim. Now there's this emergency meeting. Do you think Poch will leave now, or do you think it is going to be an end of the season job?
I'll go first, I guess. I think Poch, if he wants our job, wants to leave now. Because if you go into the summer, there's competition, right? Doesn't mean you get it. So the PSG job, it seems to be a difficult one. It seems to be there's no stability. Poch seems to like stability. I'm just going to go based on his career, right? He liked being at Tottenham. He didn't care as much about the winning and such. He cared about building the team or whatnot. And he's like, wins will come. He wants to be there. PSG, we all know, if they don't win this year, he's gone. He knows it too. So if he's seeing that United's job is now open, this is again his chance. He wanted our job to begin with, like we've been talking about, where there's all that smoke before, like at the end of that, when there's like Poch before Poch got fired. If Poch had been fired at the time that we had an open space, we would have hired him, but he was still in a job. And then he got fired, and it was like, oh shit, too late. We hired Ollie. So he wants the job. That's clear. And I think Scholes said it perfectly today. Introduce me to a manager who tells the truth in a press conference. So I think it's funny that it's coming out now. After they've lost that, they're having emergency meetings. They're already doing what PSG does, right? So then maybe it's true, maybe it's not.
If you actually look at the media cycle today, which I obviously do for a job pretty much now, is the first report came from Rob Dawson and Sam Luckhurst, who said Man United had made an approach and been told no, but both said separate articles that came out fairly close to each other. But the ball's in, I'm paraphrasing here, but put the ball in Poch's court by saying he's got to force the move. He's got to ask to leave, essentially. And then very quickly, very sharply, other reports came out saying there's been no approach. And then almost an hour after that, it was not only has there been no approach, but PSG will not entertain this until the end of the season. And then a lot of the big credible French journalists were saying, but they have approached Zidane just in case Poch leaves. And I'm like, that don't make. Why would you approach Zidane if you ain't letting him leave until the end of this? It didn't make any sense to me. And as soon as I saw that article from James Ducker, it just went, again, perfect timing. It just went 2-1 Man City and he released the article. And I was like, yeah. Like, how do you see it going, Dan?
You have to look at it like this. One thing that I always like to look at is where I can see a pattern, where I see it fits. And if you're looking like the piece to the puzzle for both sides is there. Pochettino going to Man United makes him and himself happy. Zidane, and apart from the France job, I think the PSG job is probably a very, very close second because he stays in his comfort zone. Obviously, it does sever ties that he has to Marseille, but I think to have the unlimited resources he would have at PSG would make sense. It would make himself happy and will make PSG happy. He gets to come into a situation where, again, he has a group of stars that he needs to make cohesive, that he needs to make happy again, put them in a system that works and works for everyone. And I think Zidane has shown that he can do that. So, look, let's make everyone happy. Do you know what I mean? Let's make everyone happy. I remember it's kind of a different situation, but there was like a striker merry-go-round for Chelsea. I think Giroud came to Chelsea, Batshuayi left on loan. Someone just make every single piece of the puzzle happy. But aside from that, though, because obviously Cam basically shared all the thoughts that I have regarding the Man United situation. I know we've said it time and time again. Do have to do a disclaimer. All views are my own, of course. But Man United's board. Like...
Sorry. I just realized you said that. Sorry. Yeah.
You have to ask serious questions about it because the fact that they don't have, or they didn't have a plan... Like, cool. Let me just put it out to you. If you were going to sack Oli, They should have done what Chelsea did and sack Frank Lampard, but because Tuchel wasn't ready, you still let him manage. So Frank Lampard got sacked after the Leicester game, but he was still allowed to manage the Luton FA Cup game. And then there was a bit of space, and then Tuchel came in.
Yes.
If even if he didn't get sacked after Liverpool, should have got sacked after the Man City game. So let's say he got sacked after the Liverpool game. He still gets to manage the Man City game because it's a game before the international break. It gives yourself 2 weeks to approach Poch. Poch is a no till the summer. You then get your you have 2 weeks to interview your interims, get that ready, and they get to come in.
And do you know what's crazy? Do you know what's mad about it is this, right? So I was talking about it on the show today, and it was, are you annoyed with the like? I'm reading everything going on right now. There's nothing we're doing right now that's wrong.
Of course.
It's just 5 weeks. It's just 5 weeks too late. It's the timing of it. We're doing it all right, but it's like, you know what I mean? It's like this. Mum, I'm doing my homework. She went, yes, but you start school in 5 minutes. You meant to have done it last night. It's like, I'm not doing it though. It's like there's a timing for these things. You know what I mean? And we're always off with our timing. Our timing is as bad as my mic synchronization in the studio, bruv. Like, it's a madness. It's a madness.
It's not even that though. Like, I've said, like, listen, as soon as we realized, I think it was early on in the season, people were realizing the pressure was too much. I said it. He crumbled. It's too much. And if you were always going to replace him, which we knew every week that stories were coming out, Fabrizio was being briefed. All these other guys were being briefed that we're waiting to see how the results go. I'm sorry. The moment that as soon as that's in question, as soon as you're waiting to see, you believe the person sitting in the seat is not good enough. That's it. So I don't care. As soon as we saw that phrase the first time from whoever it was that put it out, that they're waiting to see how the next run of games goes. They're giving him this next run of games. That's idiocracy. It doesn't make any sense.
Sorry, guys, just as well quickly, Pochettino's been asked a question by the media. So as it stands right now, I don't think this meeting's happened yet. He's still doing media duties. He was asked by a journalist, they asked Poch if he's told his players he's committed to PSG. And Poch responded with a very quick answer. He said, the players know very well our situation. They know their situation. We are living in a business where rumors are there. That's all. And again, I mean, salty rivals of United will say, another rejection. That's just, again, a PR. We've learned nothing there. But equally, this is what I would say.
You should have said if he was true, if he was being honest.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. If he knows categorically 100% he's staying, you just say, I will be here. And I am not leaving. I am not, it's, with Gerrard the other week when he was like, do I look like I'm not happy? Do I look like I'm, instead of doing, as soon as he said that, I was like, you're leaving. You're going. Because if you're not leaving, it's like that. Are you breaking up with me? If you're not breaking up with your other half, it's no. Oh, baby, come in. No, I'm not. If it's like, listen, it's been a really stressful time for me right now. I just don't want to speak. I don't want to talk about these stressful things right now. That means, yes, he's walking out.
Juxtapose this against how Pep answers that question. He's been asked multiple times.
Bro, Delph literally did an interview a week before he left, and he was like, they were like, "Oh, are you happy?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm happy here. Like, I love it here. It's great."
Exactly, exactly, bro. Exactly.
No, on top of everything, though, we've spoken about City. City, obviously, the way they played today, sensational. We've spoken about Chelsea. We've spoken about Liverpool again. If I was a United fan, this is even biased aside now, I would be fuming because you and KJ, when you were asking me, should Man United be in the title race, irrespective of the manager, you didn't realize what I was saying inadvertently is that you should be in the title race, and if you're not in the title race, Oli will be sacked. That's what I was basically saying in the summer, without saying that Oli will be sacked. But Man United should be one of the biggest. You have one of the best squads. Simple.
Mate, we do, and that's why for me, look, there's 4. In my opinion, absolutely 5. I'm adding 5 cast iron managers that I think are better than Poch. One of them is Zidane, but he does not want to come and play like manage in England. It's not a United rejection; it's an England rejection. No desire to be here. The next 4 are Antonio Conte, Tuchel, Klopp, Pep. None of them are attainable. So I start then scratch. Look, everyone's got a different opinion. Some will say Ten Hag. Some will say I want him. I find the rest of much of a muchness for me. There's pros and cons to all of them. We need what we know is a top-level manager to come in. And look, PSG, we've seen there was a previous ex-manager of PSG that had all the same criticisms put at him. can't get this team to work. He can't get this talent to work. How can you fail to do these things with the resources that Man City, PSG? He then joins an English club and within 12 months turns him into the best team in Europe. I'm not suggesting Poch is going to make Man United as good as Tuchel has made Chelsea, but there's a much better chance of that than going for a manager that's untested in one of the top leagues or going for another, leaving Ollie here and leaving Carrick here till the end of the season. Like, I'm looking at Poch tonight. He looked slightly disinterested. He was also sitting, you could almost see him thinking, do you know what? I could just stay here tonight and I'm home. Like, I could just stay in Manchester. Like, listen, get yourself in the Lowry. Give Fergie, go stay at Fergie's house. I'm sure Catherine will put you up, they'll put you one of the spare bedrooms. He's probably got a big house, Fergie. Like, he's probably got a nice house. Go stay there. Actually, I'll tell you who's taking house gets at the minute. Giggsy's looking for a friend. He'll let you stay. Just get yourself into Man United, son.
On the Poch thing, one thing that it's like, and this is not me saying, I'm not comparing Ole and Poch. Our fan base is killing me with all the conversation around, they look at PSG and they look at how disorganized they look, individual brilliance, no plan. That's what everybody's saying. Like, well, that's what you say when you see them play, right? But everybody in our fan base blames the players on the pitch. When it was happening here, they blamed the manager. And I just find it hilarious because I get it. Yeah, Poch has a track record before. He hasn't won anything. I just find it really hilarious that the agendas are so strong that people don't even realize that the exact same arguments that they're using, because it's just be consistent. That's how I look at it. You're using the same argument for Poch, like that. You're using the same argument for PSG that you wouldn't use for United. You won't blame our players. You blame our manager, but you're going to blame. It's like, so I'm always trying to figure that out because when Poch comes, what happens if the same thing happens?
I get it.
Right?
100%. And you can be consistent. I think what makes it difficult for people, why I give Poch a different stick is because in where it's almost like it's overload. It's almost like he's got too much. Like, so if he goes to United and there's still no structure, there's still no plan, then 1000% is him. Like, you've got to, as a manager, that is part of your job description. Yeah, of course we can blame players. Of course we can put the blame more on players as well. Like, I've done that. I've said that United players have let Ollie down in certain situations. However, as a manager, your job description, what it says in the objectives, one of the first things, get this team working, get this team playing good football once again. That's what the Man United board, or what's left of them, will probably be telling the next manager who comes in. So the issue is, now, I say to people like that speak to me all the time that want to know what's going on with managers and that, just look at their demeanor, their body language. Poch wasn't angry tonight. I mean, he wasn't animated. He wasn't like,
he was disinterested.
He was like, you know, whatever happens. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's football. It happens sometimes. Like, that those kind of dandelion type answers as well. Like, he doesn't want to be there.
Do you know what's mad as well? Yeah, like, I look at his situation like there is a disjointed nature. When you have a player and a manager that all want to work together, you can produce things like this. Premier League flop, Sebastian Haller. Joint top goal scorer in the Champions League on 9 goals. When you have a manager that's happy in a cohesive system where everybody's working hard, lesser players can benefit from it. And maybe what you'll find at Man United, like Man United have got some serious stars in there, but what Man United have, unlike PSG, and I'll say this about PSG, for me, has no soul. And even you look at Man City and Chelsea, yes, you pumped a lot of money into your club, but your squads are full of academy players. They're full of Chelsea people through and through. And I know this, and you can probably endorse this message massively. Chelsea, if you win the league this year, this will be the most satisfying title that Chelsea have ever won, because you'll understand for the first time in maybe your club's history why Manchester United love the Busby Babes and the class of 92 so much. When you grow something from within and you mix it with the plethora of purchased and domestic purchased and foreign purchased stars together, and you make something work, I can't articulate. I am not smart enough or a good enough orator to make it make sense, but it just feels different. It is a different level of connection, of emotion, of desire, of passion, and you see it in them. And I look at PSG, they haven't built an academy behind their money that gives their club a soul. Ajax has a soul. Bayern Munich has a soul. Man United, it's broken, but there's a soul there. And I think that's the thing for me that's missing at that football club. And I say that about Mbappe, done well at the World Cup that he won. Brilliant. Excellent Champions League player. But for me, until I start talking about him as being like one of the world's actual best, as in overall. He needs to go to a top league and do it. And I know that talent-wise, we know he's got that, but it's a hard thing for me to look at him and say, you're moving in that Ballon d'Or direction. Talent, you've got it. He needs to get out of that league and he needs to go to a club and in a league where people care about you winning it. No one cares about League 1, and I don't think PSG care about it that much either. It is I'm not saying it's a joke of a club, but it's just something about it. Like all the things you're hearing this about, does Messi really want to be there? The story about Ramos not really wanting to be there. It just feels like I look at Verratti and think the same thing. I'm like, mate, why are you wasting your career at PSG? Like Verratti at a proper club in a proper European league could make like Verratti could retire and we'll all forget. I'm telling you, we'll forget about him. You'll be forgotten. If you stay your whole career at PSG, you'll be forgotten about. It doesn't resonate like a Premier League, like a La Liga, like a Serie A. And I'm not just saying, the Premier League's better. You need to be at one of those beautiful clubs. And what I love about what Chelsea and City have done is, yes, people say oil money, but they've built something that's bigger than that behind the scenes, and it's starting to come through now. You've got this conveyor belt of players at Man City now. They all look the bloody same. Gary Neville said it the other day. They're like clones. That's beautiful. It's what you want to see. And for me, like, that's what's missing at that football club. And Poch needs to get himself away from it, because I think Poch wants to be at a club that has a soul. Yep. And in fact, one of the first reports that came out about him wanting to join Man United is he feels he can resurrect it. And I like that. And by the way, I think Poch could do an amazing job. I think Ten Hag could do an amazing job. I'm just not going to bother splitting hairs over the two of them, because I think they're much of a muchness in the end result, if that makes sense. There's question marks. Someone put a super chat in here saying Carlos Tevez, Rooney, Ronaldo. I do hope you're not suggesting that Tevez and Rooney's work rate off the ball was insatiable. Insatiable. Yeah. Do you know how mad it was? I remember watching Thierry Henry do some punditry and early punditry, and he said one of his biggest bugbears with Rooney is that he does too much of that, too selfless. He said, because you run around like that and then you're exhausted in front of goal. He said, I barely run around. That's why I always have the energy to score. And I laughed. And the 2 seasons where Rooney was in a position where he didn't run around and press so much, he scored over 35 goals in both seasons. And I'm like, if we'd have just invested in the right areas of that squad and didn't have to sacrifice Rooney as a 10 or a winger or a midfielder, that man could have scored at least 100 more goals. You don't hold a meeting to say you're staying. Why isn't Rodgers or Ten Hag having a meeting? Exactly. Like, this is true. If he was staying, they'd just know he's staying, because he would have said in the press, I ain't leaving. I ain't leaving.
Can I speak on the Kylian thing? Because, like, I think what you spoke on there is actually bang on with him. And I think he's come out and he said it. He asked to leave. He's come out and said, like a lot of players have said, Real Madrid is his pick. He said, that's my gold star. I want to be there. The posters on the wall. And I think as part of that, he knows, he's fully aware. He went to PSG because they paid a lot of money. They developed him. It was a good place for him to get his feet in the Champions League every year and show out. But it's very clear that he knows even that that's not how he's going to rise to the Galacticos that we all know, the names that we could brandy about that have gone to Real Madrid or that have just been known as world stars. Like, he's won a World Cup. The only way he's going to be able to elevate and become a legend is by leaving that league, going to Real Madrid.
And you phrase that better than I did. So we can definitely look at him and say that he is a top class, even a world class talent. But even though he's on a World Cup, he can't, until he's done it in a major league, he can't have legendary status for me. Irrespective of talent, World Cups, he has to do it in one of the top leagues. He just has to, for me. But he knows that. That's why he's trying to get away. And he's got to get himself away from it. Ram's here with us as well. Looks like where you been in your white shirt, mate? You been at work?
Nah, I was
on a date.
Been on a date?
No, it's not.
Ladies' night, and I feel all right.
Right, allow it. I was at a civil wedding today, so I had to dress up.
A civil? What's a civil wedding?
Well, you have to, like, when you're legally married.
Oh, so a wedding.
Yeah, basically.
Sorry, I'm winding you up. I hear what you're saying, bro. Would you really want Poch after tonight with about 4 world-class players got to play like that? If I was a United fan, it would be a no.
But this is what I say, though. Like, you guys need to listen. Like, obviously, I'm just being unbiased because I actually, look, as much as we want to banter and whatnot, like, you want to see you just like a good football. I want Man United to be back on top because it means that if you beat Man United when they are one of the best teams in the world, it almost legitimizes when you win. Do you know what I mean? If you could have four teams all playing well, like that's why when people were saying to me that what's it called? The route you had to no one can ever question look, when time will always tell you that that's what Liverpool fans do. Like obviously I don't want to bring it back up, but you know when they delegitimize a run or the teams you played or the team you had at the time. Like now that we're all living in the same time, if Man United can get exactly. If Man United can get back to where they were, it means that it makes it all the more sweeter when you knock them down. Look at the times when we used to face Man United and other guys for the title and whatnot.
It's become like this. When Liverpool batter Arsenal now, it don't feel like when they were battering the peak Arsenal. And equally, I've said this before, right? And Liverpool fans might not want to agree with this. If you win the league this year with Chelsea looking this good, City being this good, and do you know what? And if Man United come back, if Poch comes in and we turn into a good team again and you finish top of that pile, you're not even going to look at your points total. You're going to look at who you beat. When you beat brilliant teams to winning titles in great historic races, it actually feels better than running away. Like this, if you could ask me how I want to win a game against my rivals, I want it to be a hard-fought game where both teams look brilliant and we nick it 1-0, 2-1, fairly late goal. That gives you, we were the better team, but you were amazing. So it wasn't like you had an off day, last minute drama as well. Yeah, there's a part of you that wants to batter your rivals 5-6-0. But there's also the other side of that where it's like, but they must have been really, really bad on the day. Like sometimes for the ultimate credibility, it's beating and outperforming another brilliant team at the same time. There's no better feeling in it than football, especially winning a title like that. It'll be massive.
That's why I think Man City fans put the 2018-19 season above the 2017-18 because Liverpool were winning games left, right, and centre, and they were as well.
Chelsea fans look like Thomas Tuchel is probably becoming quickly one of my favourite managers ever. But that 2012 Champions League win, beating that Barcelona team and that Bayern Munich team in their own backyard, nothing can ever we beat two of the best teams in Europe at the time, and nothing can ever because we shouldn't have been there if we're being honest, and nothing can come close to that in my opinion unless we do back. If we do back to back, you will not hear the end of me. Of course, I'm not saying we will, but if we do, my goodness.
I hear you on that. Thank you for the super chat, Pav. A question here from Kevin says Bruno seemed mad yesterday. Why do you guys think is what you meant?
When his mentality.
But I didn't think he looked mad. I think he looked determined and crisp when he came on. Actually, moved the ball well, quicker passing, blessing in disguise, dropping him in my opinion. And he came on and very unselfishly that little again. He never gets the praise for those kind of passes. That was he looked like he was going to control it and shoot, but he opened his body and put the ball to Sancho. It was brilliant. And look, I ain't getting carried away with anything that happens at all until the new manager comes in. And even then, I'm going to take my time. But yeah, Bruno, I wouldn't say mad. Guys, listen, I appreciate you all coming on and everyone that's tuned in. We're back tomorrow morning. Tomorrow evening, remember, the Bet Victor show is back live 9 p.m. in the studio. Daniel, Patrick, and Man Like Lives from AFTV will be there. So make sure it'd be nice if you were all tuning in now. We're back at 9 p.m. tomorrow night. It'd be great to see you all on the show in our new studio at Unit 7. Sorry, I thought there was something crawling across my table. It wasn't. It was a packet or something. I thought something. Like my office is in is in the garage, which is in the garden, and it's very countrified out here. And every now and then you see animals, and it just scared me for a second. My heart started beating very quickly. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Smash the like button before you leave. RIP United, dead club is what Simon's got to say. Cheers, Si. It's a way to end the show. Until next time, take care, look after yourselves, people, and we'll see you all again soon. Peace.